So let's start off with the first culprit, not in any particular order. Okay, soda, no, not good. Why? Let's talk about the sugary sodas. So much sugar, so much sugar that it actually causes a sugar spike. What's a sugar spike? Well, as soon as you eat the sugary item, your glucose goes really, really high, and then the hormone insulin kicks in, but it's a fat storing hormone. So this may look like this here, but it's gonna go right here, right here, and yucky right here. We don't want this. So you say to yourself, okay, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna have a diet soda then. I don't know which one's worse. They're both really, really, really bad. I think diet soda is actually really worse, to be honest with you. Diet soda, for example, Diet Coke, actually has more caffeine, which is maybe why people get so addicted to Diet Coke. But diet soda, the word diet is so deceiving. I know we've discussed this on a previous show, but it's so deceiving because what it actually is the aspartame in it, which is the sweetener found in most diet sodas, is an excitotoxin. It causes your brain to be really excited. It actually makes you hungrier, contributing to obesity, contributing to diabetes and all these awful things. Just from diet soda, when you think you're having a diet product, you're not. It's also a known neurotoxin. Yuck, yuck, yuck. You gotta stay away from these. So, what's our alternatives? Our alternatives are something like Stevia. This is a stevia sweetened soda. Stevia is a plant. It's a leaf that they grind up and it's sweet. And it actually tastes very good. This is non-GMO. This is a very wonderful alternative if you have to have a soda here and there. You can also make this yourself. Like we've made this before on the show. You take any kind of sparkling water and lemon and stevia, mix it up, and you've got Diet Sprite, and it's quite yummy. So try that. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so you're in your car and you're driving home. It's 4 o'clock and you're starving. All of a sudden you're hungry because you didn't eat every 2 hours. Your glucose has dropped so low. You need to do something, and you picked up something like this, a candy bar, chocolate with artificial colors and pure processed chocolate. And what happens here is that you get a major sugar spike, huge. And to add insult to injury, when you eat something like this as a snack with nothing else, what happens is that you actually get hungrier faster. It can make you moody and make you very unhappy because you eat the chocolate, your sugar spikes, and then insulin comes in, again, a fat storing hormone. I'm going to keep saying this goes here. You do not want sugar spikes, right? Insulin's job is to store fat. This is going somewhere else that you don't want, I promise you. So stay away from these guys, not good. You know, another alternative actually, now that I think about it, is dark chocolate. Because dark chocolate has a lot lower sugar. So if you have to have that chocolate, it has a lot lower sugar and you're fuller faster because it's very rich. And then if you're feeling like something like tart and tangy and yummy for candy, for if you're eating Skittles or things like that, you know, those are all made after fruits. They have chemicals that make the candy taste like apples or taste like cherries or we've all seen this in gum or whatever it is. So why don't you just reach out and grab the fruit and see how satiated you are? So have the fruit instead. It's a much smarter idea. Okay, here's one that we all know about, and I've actually covered this on another show, but it needs to be said again. This one is people are making a really big mistake with processed white flour. Yuck, okay? We've got bread, white flour bread, processed. We've got pasta, bagels, and all sorts of baked items, and cookies and cakes and muffins. These things are empty calories. There's no nutrients left in them, and there's no fibers left in them. So as soon as you eat this, it is at the final stage of digestion over here. So there's nothing going on here, and when you swallow, there's nothing going on. Your body doesn't need to do anything because everything has been stripped out of it. So this is what they consider a simple carbohydrate. Now I want to show you again, in case you missed that show, how important this is to have complex carbohydrates instead of simple carbohydrates on your daily life, unless you're an athlete, and there's certain times where you can have them, but we'll get to that next, okay? I want you to pretend that this is a chain of sugars, okay? A chain of sugars like this happens to be a complex carbohydrate. Now, there is these chemical bonds in between each one of these pearls, okay, that your body has to break down in order to liberate each one of these glucoses when you eat a complex carbohydrate, like sprouted grains, okay, like Ezekiel bread. So you eat that and it goes into your stomach and your body's like, oh God, there's work to be done. And it breaks down the chemical bonds between each of these glucoses, and it releases the glucose in your bloodstream slowly. So you're satiated longer, you're fuller longer. actually you end up eating less, which is the whole key. You want to have sustained energy. It's wonderful. Now, let's do this. You have a bowl of white pasta, or perhaps even a chocolate chip muffin, okay? Or white bread, seemingly fine, right? Well, this is all really just sugar. It doesn't look like sugar, it doesn't taste like sugar. The second it's in there, it's just sugar. It's processed nothingness. So what that is, that's a simple carbohydrate. You've got just one of these. No more strand, just one. It's already broken down. It's already done its job. It's already done what your stomach would have done if it had a complex carbohydrate. So you swallow this, and then you swallow a whole bunch of these, and your body is like instantly flooded with sugar, and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? If you're not going to go run a marathon, as I said, then guess what? Insulin comes in, you got a huge spike, and it stores it because it's a fat storing hormone, and this, you're going to walk around like this. Not quite, but pretty much so. So, simple, complex. Go to complex carbohydrates. So much better for you. Again, Ezekiel bread, whole grains. Take a peek. Make sure that you're eating complex and not simple. Okay, so to go along with the processed flour and the white refined flour, we've got cereals. I'm sorry, everybody. Cereals are not always the greatest choice. A lot of them say refined, or rather enriched, or added minerals. Those things don't matter when it's still processed, and for the most part, these are still processed foods that leave you hungry, really hungry. And you know, to add insult to injury, a lot of the cereals that we give our children, don't look at the name, are colored. See all these little colors? Yes, it's definitely more appealing for your 5 or 6 year old child if you have children to eat, and maybe even for yourself you want to eat a color and you're thinking that you're actually going to get a fruit or a different flavor from that color, which sometimes you do, I imagine. However, we now know that proven that artificial colors actually are a contributing factor to learning disabilities. Get them out of your diet, please, especially if you have children, get them out. And then you've got cereals that have corn in it, and in America, it's not mandatory to label whether or not you have a GMO in here. Hopefully one day that'll change, but for now it's not. GMOs are not good. We'll have a whole show on GMOs, but for now, please look for a label that says non-GMO on it, and you can look it up online about why it's bad and until the show is out, but it's really not good. Now, healthy alternative will be, again, a complex carbohydrate. These are simple carbohydrates like we just discussed. Complex, meaning having some Ezekiel bread, for example, with, say a fruit on it, that's fine. You know, like a pure jam on it, and then an egg. That would be amazing. You've got all the little categories going there, and your body has a lot to do with that. It takes a long time to break down fats. It takes a long time to break down carbohydrates, and you're fuller longer. This leads to obesity, leads to getting fat because you are starving an hour later. And if you're not running, once again, this is going on your butt. Okay, here's a really good one. This is a sneaky one, okay? So we have yummy double stuffed Oreos. Yum, I know they're good. However, they are so full of fat and so full of sugar. But there's worse. Now, people are walking through the aisle saying, you know what, I really am on a diet. I shouldn't have these Oreos, but I really want them. So I'm going to go for the reduced fat ones. Now, say, oh, well, I could also choose the sugar-free ones. These are worse. Now I'll tell you why, okay? If you're going to take out the fat, you're going to add more sugar. That's the way it works. And if you're going to take out the sugar, you're going to add more fat. So it's a punch on either side of your face. So if you're going to have to do it, then do it. But just to let you know, this is a very sneaky way to get you to think that you're actually going to lose weight by eating these. And some people, because it says reduced fat, say, oh my gosh, reduced fat, I'm going to have 4 of them instead of the 2 that I would have normally had with that. But you're having twice as much sugar, which means you're actually really getting the same amount of fat, because what happens again, as we've just learned, is that when you spike that sugar, and there's so much more sugar in the reduced fat one than there is in the regular one, you're going to be storing that fat with the insulin storing hormone, which is not good. So, and this one usually has so many more chemicals than the actual real one that you want to stay away from it as it is. So, you know, stay away from all cookies if you can, unless you're going to bake them at home. You know exactly what's in them. If you don't understand what's in the back of these, don't eat it, because we don't know what it is either. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So next on my list is beef, processed beef, processed meat, actually. You know it's processed if it actually has a list of ingredients in the back. Because if you go to a butcher and you say, may I please have slices of turkey, they're going to give you the turkey. They're going to actually cook a turkey, slice a turkey, and give you the turkey. Now, when you buy something like ham from unnamed sources, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ingredients in just this one alone, including a whole bunch of nitrates and a whole bunch of nitrites and sodium benzoate and all these chemicals to keep it fresh and keep it preserved so it doesn't go yuck on you. So this is a really bad one. Now also, when you buy a slab of beef, now just even at the butcher, and you get a conventionally raised cow, for example, they are fed a large amount of grain so we can fatten them up. Why? Because there's money involved. So you're going to get a fat cow because we're feeding them things to get them fat. And if you got a fat cow and you're eating a fat cow, you're eating a fat piece of meat and you're getting fat. So that's the whole reason why I ask if you're going to buy meat. I'm asking if you could please, and I know it's a little more expensive, but find grass-fed or pasture-raised animals. They're allowed to eat their natural diet, and if they're eating a natural diet, it's a lot less fattening for you. You know, and also, I want to make sure that you know if you're buying deli meat for yourself for sandwiches for lunch, or if you're buying deli meat for your children, they have alternatives you can actually find in the store with a big W that starts with the W, so I don't say their names. They have something called Natural Choice, for example. This happens to be, it's non-hormonal, and it's free of nitrates or nitrites, and it's got artificially nothing in it, zero. It goes bad faster, it sure does. However, let me tell you, this is the way to go. There's no chemicals in it, it's all natural, it's hormone free, and it's not expensive. This was under $5, and it is about 8 ounces of meat, so it's really good if you want to do it. This comes in chicken, ham, turkey, all different kinds. So you can see this is called Hormel, and there's also very many other products out there. If you go to Whole Foods or Fresh Market, you can just ask for, I'd like nitrate free, please. Okay, and grass fed, most of them are at that point anyway, and pasture is raised. So be really sure to check next time and to spend just a little extra money. You know, in the end, it actually saves you money, because if you're really gaining a lot of weight, a lot of sickness comes because toxins are stored in your fat. And you know, and when sickness comes, prescriptions come, and you know, it's kind of like a yucky thing. So let's try and keep it as clean as possible. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, now I'm going to gross you out a little bit, sorry. Along with the meats, I had to make a separate one, an obesity-causing food, an unhealthy food, and I'm going to call them hot dogs. Not all hot dogs, but you really must read the label on this one. I want to just enlighten you if you don't know already. One of the ingredients, the very first ingredient in this, is called mechanically separated turkey and mechanically separated chicken. Then corn syrup, by the way. Okay, so what is mechanically separated turkey and what is mechanically separated chicken? Ugh, sorry guys. That happens to be all the body parts that are not usable, like the eyeballs, the intestines, and all the things that you're not edible, really, and they make them edible because what they do is they put them in a centrifuge, which spins them around really, really fast, and it makes it really, really high temperature, and then they treat it with ammonia, and then it becomes a hot dog. I'm not joking. Yuck. And then, I mean, the corn syrup, and it pales in comparison to the mechanically separated meat. So stay away from products that say mechanically separated anything. Yuck. Now there's alternatives, right? We have all natural, like hot dogs are everywhere. Just read the back. No nitrates again. No mechanically separated meats. These are they're from Applegate. Has a lot of them too. These are sausages. They're apple and chicken, and they're really, really good. And they have no hormones. They're grass-fed, and they are nitrate-free, and they're just meat. It's just chicken, good chicken, not mechanically separated body parts. Yuck. Okay, so we all know that fried foods are bad, for sure. Why are they bad? Well, most fried foods are battered in that white flour refined stuff that processed stuff that we've been going over this whole time. Then to add insult to injury, they're fried in a really low quality oil, like a GMO oil or a hydrogenated oil. Yuck and super yuck. And then combined with that high temperature creates all sorts of chemicals that you do not want in your body. It's not a good combination. It's excess fat that you do not want. Stay away from the fried foods, including potato chips. Now, potatoes aren't battered, but they are deep fried. Now, you can find potato chips that are actually better for you by looking at the type of oil they're fried in. Make sure it's a non-hydrogenated oil, non-GMO oil. Again, look for the little non-GMO sign on the bottom. It's really important. Now, again, these are fried, so you're getting those high temperatures, but that is definitely a better alternative. Another alternative you can just have is have some vegetables if you want some crunchies. Doesn't cut it for everybody, and I know that. So you can take some potatoes on your own, buy some organic potatoes, or just potatoes if you don't want to buy organic, and dehydrate them with salt and pepper, or put them in your oven. Cut them, slice them thinly, put them in your oven, and try that. There's many alternatives to fried food. You really want to stay away from these. You don't want to pack it on, and you want to be healthy.